Now, here's the voice of the West Monroe Rebels, Rick Gio.
New host for Inside Rebel Football here in 2024. We appreciate you listening in tonight. Joined by head coach Kevin Davis. We'll also have offensive line coach John Barron, strength and conditioning coach DeMichael Dizer, and 4 players with us here tonight. We apologize for coming on the air a little bit late tonight, having some technical difficulties with some new sound equipment we've got this year, but I think we've got this worked out. You can also catch us this season. A number of new things we've been working on. All home games, Inside Rebel Football Show, air live on Friday nights at 6:15 on WMHS.TV, followed by the game live at In Action. And you can also catch us here on LA 105.3 on the pregame show starting at 6:15 on Friday nights. And then Coach Colby Ashley will. You can also find us on the West Monroe Football Facebook page, which will direct you to the live stream of our coaches show tonight that usually gets posted mid-morning on Thursdays. You'll be able to catch us on that tomorrow. Opening segment here with head coach Kevin Davis. And Coach, always good to come out, start the season. You put up 40 points. You win 40-7 over Huntington. Give me your overall assessment of that game. We talked after the game about how you won the battle up front. Special teams played a big role in that as well. But give me your overall assessment of Huntington game.
Well, I thought it was all a complete game. Obviously, you look at all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. I thought we played tremendous in all 3 phases of it. We want to win that special teams battle every week. Obviously, we have a great punter, great kickers, and I said kickers, and snapper and holders, and so that's a definite a win for us that we want to have. And then kicked it in the end zone several times. That's huge. Hunter did a great job there. And then just offensively and defensively, I thought we executed what we needed to.
Coach, we saw a little trick play at the beginning of the game on an extra point. The purpose of that, is that just to really force your opponent to prepare for that going in, something else for them, a distraction maybe to focus on in a week? Tell me about your extra point, the swinging gate operation.
Well, I think so. Coach Taylor Burch brought that in with him when he came, and has different scenarios to it, and kids work it and they love it, especially when it works like it did the other night. And so it just, you go up 8-0, then you score and kick the extra point. Now it's 15. Now they're saying, at what point do we start having to go for 2? And we only have to do it one time. So it helps our kids, it helps the morale, and it helps them just kind of lock in and stay focused.
Coach, if you had, thinking back, when we talked Friday night, of course you hadn't watched the film. You got a chance to watch the film, after Friday night's game. Something stands out to you. What's something that the Rebels need to improve on? What's the main focus that you saw after watching film? Like, man, we got to do a better job of this to be successful.
Well, we've got to throw the ball around better. We've got to catch the ball. We got to just do those type things a little better. We've got to get more consistent. We're sitting there at about 38%, which we need to be around 60% as far as throwing the ball around. And I thought we made huge strides this week in doing that.
Great.
And then working on it. And that's something Ryder's going to take pride in, and he's going to work on. And we just got to get the ball out there to those guys.
Coach, your senior leadership on this team, of course, this is week 2, so you're still working on that identity of this football team. But talk a little bit about your senior leadership. Guys like Parker Todd and Hayes Fuquay, and some Booby Miles, Dew Priest as well. And talk about some of your leadership.
Well, they've been leaders all year, and you just named 4 of the 5 captains.
Okay.
Tyler Roark being the 5th. So that's our captains for the year.
For years, it feels like.
But they are our 5 captains. They are voted on by the players, and so it works out really well for us. And it was a unanimous hands down thing for those guys. And so, but they're the leaders. I challenge them in the locker room, challenge them in the building, just to be that kind of guy that brings positivity and brings our guys together.
Coach, I know our opening segment was a little short. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll visit with offensive line coach John Barron. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At Century Next Bank, employees are busy working for you. Employees like Lee Denny, whose relationships make an impact in the communities we call home.
So to see positive impact that these relationships can have when you work with other people, when other people appreciate it. And again, it goes back to spending time and trying to help somebody, and it's a very rewarding thing for me as well.
For more on Lee's story, visit bankwithlocals.com. Century Next Bank. What's next for you?
Welcome back, everybody. We apologize for the extended break and just working with some new equipment this season. We apologize for those technical difficulties, and I know the opening segment with Coach Davis wasn't the best quality of sound. We're going to have Coach Davis at the end of the show previewing the upcoming matchup against Pulaski Academy. Now joined by offensive line coach John Barron, a familiar voice to the show, now going to become a familiar face to the show, Coach, now that we live stream here on WMHS.TV. Coach, welcome back to the show. Real quick, remind how many years have you been at West Monroe now?
I think this is year 7.
Year 7?
Yeah.
Feels like you just got here. Feels like you've been here forever.
Yeah, well, I mean,
depends on the day.
Depends on the night. No, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Coaching offensive line here is truly a blessing.
Awesome. You had an addition to your offensive line coaching staff in this offseason, Coach Lance Wright, a former player.
We did.
Talk about Lance and what addition he is to your crew.
Lance the legend.
Yeah.
I call him Lance the legend. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome with the kids. He's awesome in the locker room. He's awesome on the field. Brings a lot of energy. Brings a lot of knowledge. He's a guy that's been there, done that, played here. Won state championships. Went on and played in college. And, has kind of bounced around and gets to come back home and hopefully gets to come back home for a long time.
Yeah. Coach, you've been coaching offensive line for a while. You've seen different versions and different players and classes and groups come through the program. Your initial thought, I know we're week 2, and it's really hard to judge as things evolve throughout a season. But here in week 2, your thoughts on your offensive line. You've had a chance to see them in the Bayou Jam, a scrimmage, then the Bayou Jam, and of course week 1 in Huntington where you controlled the offensive line. But your thoughts overall so far?
I guess kind of like you said, it's early in the season. It's hard to write the book on them right now. I like them. I like them a lot. They like it. They like the position. These guys, very rarely do you see kids growing up in the schoolyard that want to play O-line. Everybody wants to play quarterback, running back, receiver, or whatnot. But it seems like these guys are wired a little different. They enjoy it. They enjoy the grind. And it's kind of been, as far as evaluation, it's kind of, early in the season, we've kind of dealt with some injuries.
Okay.
We've dealt with 2 injuries right now, so we kind of, it's a revolving door to try to fill those spots. And we've had a lot of kids come in and play, a lot of meaningful reps so far, and do a really good job.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear. Good to hear we got some depth up front, and you're able to roll guys in there. I guess time will tell. You haven't seen them just yet on Friday night action, but we're starting to get some experience.
It's a good group. They're a young group. I think we only have 3 seniors, and we have a pile of juniors, and we've got some sophomores in there.
Awesome.
Poking around. So it's a fun dynamic.
Coach, you coach offensive line, obviously, but on Friday nights, coaches had different roles. You got a job on Friday night. What are you looking for? Are you looking for offensive line adjustments? Are you looking for defensive fronts? Your job as the play is getting ready to go, what are you looking for on Friday night?
Well, I like to look at the fronts, the defensive fronts.
Okay.
We have coaches up top, Coach Welch and Coach Routon do a good job up top spotting for us. Then Lance, he'll kind of look at the backside. I'll look at the front side, but I really want to see what are we going against.
Okay.
Because you prepare all week for a certain front or a certain stunt or things like that, and then you get to Friday night, and it'll take you a drive or 2 to kind of settle in and get a feel for what they're doing. And sometimes that's harder for me than it is for kids. I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. And, with today's technology, you got the iPads and the TVs on the sideline. So any questions you talk to the kids about, it's immediately answered right there.
Well, I know that helps you guys out a lot, and especially these young guys as you're getting them experience.
Absolutely.
Coach, an unfamiliar opponent this weekend or this Friday night in Pulaski, the Bruins, the Pulaski Academy up in Little Rock. You've had a chance to look at them on film. Your thoughts, what type of defense will we see? I know it's probably a little unorthodox, as they do a lot of things unorthodox, but Tell me about Pulaski.
Man, I wish I could tell you what kind of defense we'd see. We have 3 films, and they played 3 different defenses.
Okay.
They played them both very effective.
Gotcha.
They gave up a lot of points to a team out of Jackson, Mississippi, but I think a lot of teams would give up a lot of points to them. And then the previous one was against Robinson out of Arkansas, and they held them to 3 scores.
Yeah.
And then before that, they played Jonesboro, Arkansas, and held them to 1 score. Gotcha. So, they like a 4-man front. I think that's kind of what we'll see, but they can very easily go to a 5-man front and be very effective out of that. Cause a lot of chaos. They love chaos. They love pressure. They want to confuse you.
Okay.
And that's kind of been a point of emphasis us this week is don't let your eyes lie to you. Don't get caught peeking. Don't get caught looking. You know your rules. You know your steps. Trust your training.
Yeah.
And go execute.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I know it'll be a challenge. It's a good program up there. There's several
Absolutely.
state championships,
Absolutely.
and so they're accustomed to big ball games, and so are we. We're looking forward to going up there.
Oh, man, it's going to be exciting.
Coach, it's always a pleasure visiting with you here
Yes,
on the
sir.
show, and look forward to catching up with a couple of your guys here in just a second.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, that was offensive line coach John Barron. We come back, we'll visit with Jay Shedd and Bodie Costello here on Inside Rebel Football. We'll be right back.
For years, you've trusted us with your car buying experience. You've trusted us to provide service after the sale. You've even trusted us to help keep your vehicle clean. Now it's time for us to have some fun.
Polaris of Ruston, where the road ends, adventure begins.
Welcome back to Inside Rebel Football. We're live here at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, our new host for 2024. Also have some other sponsors. We want to thank Doopy Flooring, coming on as a new sponsor here this season on Inside Rebel Football, and Dr. Jeff Counts with the Orthopedic Clinic. We appreciate their support. And as you hear these commercials throughout our broadcast tonight, these are the folks who step up and support Inside Rebel Football, our coaches show. Be sure and check out our Facebook page and watch the Wednesday night coaches show as well. It'll be carried on Facebook Live, and you can catch that tomorrow morning as Coach Ashley will do his magic and get us up on YouTube, and so our folks can go back and watch the show on the West Monroe Football Facebook page. You'll be able to see it there. And of course, we're live, pregame show 6:15 Friday night, kickoff at 7 o'clock. You'll find us right here at 105.3. Now joined by a couple of offensive linemen, a couple of seniors for West Monroe, Bodie Costello and Jace Shedd, 2 senior offensive linemen. Guys, welcome to the show. Bodie, we'll start with you, man. 2 seniors. You guys are program guys, man. You've been here and poured out effort year after year, and now you're a senior. This is your season. You'll be remembered for 2024. Tell me what that means to you.
It's very important to me. For the most part, me and Shedd are the only O-linemen.
Yeah.
And so we feel a lot more connected to the O-line team in previous years. It felt like a lot more of like their own faction, the seniors, but now because it's just me and Shedd,
Yeah.
we feel a lot more connected to the team, and it it gets a lot closer with the players, and it's very important to us.
Yeah. Jace, do you echo those thoughts? What's it mean to you as you think about this year being your senior season and all the work you guys put in the off season? Tell me what this season means to you.
Absolutely. I mean, it means a lot. I mean, especially when you only have about 3 seniors on the O-line. I mean, especially with the younger group, you really got to integrate and, help those younger guys develop and get where they need to be so it can be a full, clean unit.
When you think about the identity of this offensive line, in years past we've had big offensive line. We've had small offensive lines. We've had aggressive, not so aggressive. The identity, Bodie, as you think about through the summer and now we're into week 2 and you're starting to see this offensive line develop a little bit, what's the identity? Are we a nasty group? Are we aggressive? Are we learning? Are we young? Are we inexperienced? Your thoughts just overall.
I think we're definitely nasty. We've put in a lot of work to be very aggressive on the line, and we had a Chance hurt earlier.
Yeah.
And it was worrying me a little bit, but then Cam and Juicy, they stepped up. They are a little experienced. They had their first varsity games, I think, and they showed up and they played very well for the first games.
Jace, a lot goes into being successful on offense, especially up front. You guys worked extremely hard this summer. Talk to me about the summer process and how difficult it can be, but what it means to you guys. But talk to me about the summer. How many days a week did you guys go, and talk about the work you put in?
We go about 3-4 days in the summer. O-line, we stay together so we can get our plays down, get that chemistry going, so we can just roll through the season.
Tell me about the 6 a.m. practices. Would you rather, let me ask you this, would you rather practice at 6 a.m. or would you rather the after-school practices? Which one's better?
For sure in the morning. Get out of that heat, get it done over with, and then you can maybe even catch some film in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Just ease off the bat.
So you didn't mind waking up early?
No.
Bodie, you a morning person?
I definitely enjoyed the 6 a.m. practice. It was not hot. We got a lot more done. Felt we had a lot more effort in it.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I know that's difficult, especially back-to-back days as you guys grind through those practices. You got a couple of energetic offensive line coaches, Coach John Barron and now the addition of Coach Lance Wright.
Coach Lance.
What's your thoughts on the two guys? How fun is it?
I love Coach Barron. I've known him for 4 years. He's probably the best coach I've ever had.
Awesome.
And Coach Lance showed up, and he's changed a lot of what we do and the effort and how we perform and how we conduct ourselves. Certainly, I really enjoyed.
Awesome. Love hearing that. I've known both those guys for a long time, and certainly outstanding coaches. And guys, I hope my kid gets to play for. Last question, guys, as we wrap up our segment. Jace, I'll ask you, you go to Pulaski, you go to an out-of-state ball game, make a road trip. What does West Monroe have to do to be successful Friday night?
We just got to worry about what we have going on, execute our plan, don't get sidetracked, focus in, lock in, play the game.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, guys. And I like to tell our seniors as we wrap up our segment, thank you for all you poured into this program. Thank you for wearing this jersey with pride and representing former players and people that graduated from West Monroe and our other community members. Keep up the good work. Enjoyed having you guys on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Jay Shedd and Bodie Costello here on Inside Rebel Football. We come back, we'll talk strength and conditioning and some defense with Coach DeMichael Dizer. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coach, look what I got. The Rocket Fast Playbook. That's awesome, Sport. What does it say? First, you get him in the tunnel. Second, you blindside him with the wall of foam. Third, you call an audible. Then comes the Hail Mary. You hit him with the Fast Pass. Coach, it's brilliant. No dirty opponent stands a chance against Rocket Fast.
Hey, that's my playbook. Where'd you get that? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just sing the song.
Rocket Fast. It's a blast, and your vehicle is clean.
Football. We're live here at Freddy's on Cypress Street in West Monroe. I want to appreciate Dawson Bose back at the studio. Had some technical difficulties. Him and Tim worked through that and finally got us good and clear on the air. And, of course, Coach Ashley here at Freddy's giving up his Wednesday night to help us live stream this for our folks to watch on Facebook and on YouTube, and something new we're trying out this season. And we're also live streaming our pregame shows for home games for now. At 6:15, you can catch us on our YouTube channel. And, of course, here live on LA 105.3. Now joined by head strength and conditioning coach DeMichael Dizer, also known as D-Mike, as you hear people talk throughout the community. Coach, you've been a big hit this offseason with players and parents and community getting to know you. And talk about that transition as to the new responsibility as head strength and conditioning coach.
Right. Just coming in, wanted to make a name for myself as the head guy, having served as the assistant coach. I was able to learn a lot under Coach Manning, see how the things go in season, off season, the relationships we build with players, parents, the relationships we got to have with all the coaches on the staff. It's a big communication role. You pretty much tied into all facets of the program, from top to bottom, from player injuries to players' performance, player development, their success on the field as well as off the field. So just coming in, I wanted to make sure, that I put myself in the right position to do those things and continue that tradition that Coach Casey Sanders set the bar real high. And I'm just doing the best I can every day to try to hold that standard up.
Coach, you've been around this game for a long time. You've played at the highest level there is.
Right.
And you've seen strength and conditioning evolve over time.
Right.
Talk about that and how you've had to adjust what probably you went through as a player to now as the strength coach. How has that evolved over time?
I think for me, having played high school, college, and professional, I was able to see how each level trained.
Gotcha.
And how they did things in the off season, how they did things in season, how they had things for certain positions and certain players, guys that want to put on weight, guys that want to maintain weight, guys that need to lose weight. And having a degree in kinesiology just kind of put me in a position, and having resources and coaches that I can call on, and put me in a position to have a better understanding. I would say a total understanding of what it is to develop a player on a general basis and then a specific basis, and the time of years that you have the opportunity to do each one of those things.
Awesome. Coach, you don't run the weight room by yourself.
Right.
Talk about some of the guys that help you in that.
So in the summertime, we put together really an 8-man crew who works each day, and then we have our assistant coaches. They come in, they get to pick 2 or 3 days a week that they're available. They come in, they jump right in. But we put pretty much this summer, we went from 7 a.m. all the way to 12:30. We averaged probably right around 200 kids per day, between ninth graders and seniors. And so it was a really good summer. We saw a lot of kids make some development in character. We saw a lot of kids develop some leadership skills, and that's one of the main things we wanted to do in the summertime. Coaches were able to build some relationships with some players that they don't necessarily get to see every day, that don't play their position. And so I felt like the summer gave us an opportunity to really come together and bond and start forming our identity as a football team.
Coach, that's not your only role on the staff, strength and conditioning. You also coach the secondary. Tell me about your thoughts. Folks, you guys dove head first into the pool going against Evangel in the Bayou Jam. Calvary first in the scrimmage, and then Evangel, 2 of the best throwing teams in the state of Louisiana. Talk to me about the progression of our secondary.
Yeah, coming in that scrimmage versus Calvary, we just wanted to see what guys would compete. We knew they had a good quarterback. We knew they had some good receivers. We wanted to put our guys in some positions to where, they was going to have to win some one-on-one battles. And Calvary made a lot of plays downfield on us. I think, we were short a few guys, and we had to play some younger guys kind of earlier than maybe they were ready to play. But that's what scrimmages are for. You want to get all that stuff, done, and when it don't count, it don't go towards your record. So I think Calvary was a really good scrimmage for us. Showed us some things about some guys, showed us some character that we needed to see before we got into week 1. We went into the Jam, played another really good passing team, good quarterback. They had a good receiver, a couple good receivers. They made a few plays downfield on us, and our kids responded well. They didn't drop their heads. They showed up, came back to film, and they took the coaching and correction pretty good. So.
Pulaski Academy, known for their unorthodox formations and decisions and all that. Give us a quick preview of their offense.
Yeah, if you come to the game or you watch the game, you're going to see 5 wide. You're going to see 5 receivers on one side of the field. You're going to see 4 receivers. They're going to give us quads. They shift. They motion. They go fast. They go slow. They do everything that you can do as an offense to give yourself an advantage. And for our kids, it's just going to be about lining up, slow your heart rate down, control your breathing, stay in the flow of the game, line up, make plays. If we would be more physical than them and we can eliminate the deep ball and giving up cheap scores, I like our chances.
Awesome. Coach, always a pleasure visiting with you.
Appreciate it.
Folks, that's the strength and conditioning coach, Michael Dizer, and wears a lot of hats for this program and certainly has had a huge impact on the culture up there at West Monroe High School, and we appreciate everything that he does and represents. We come back, we'll visit with 2 of his defensive backs here on Inside Rebel Football. We'll have Linton Arledge and Jaden Eck right when we come back. Stay with us.
The Home Improvement Outlet has a must-see iron door collection. Whether you're a homeowner or a builder, we have the perfect iron door for you. And check out our cutting-edge smart glass option, offering privacy and style at the touch of a button. With many glass options available, you can customize your door to match your unique style. We have iron doors that pivot, slide, and so much more. The Home Improvement Outlet in West Monroe.
Now cue that jingle.
The Home Improvement Outlet, you're building for less.
Welcome back, folks, and thanks for hanging with us here on Inside Rebel Football. We're live here at Freddy's in West Monroe, right here on Cypress Street. We appreciate their support. A couple other sponsors, Doopy Flooring, just jumped on board with us for Inside Rebel Football. Dr. Jeff Counts with the Orthopedic Clinic. Also, you can find Dr. Counts on the sidelines at home games for West Monroe. Always been a big part of this program and a luxury of this program to have an orthopedic surgeon, orthopedic doctor on the sidelines on Friday nights. Now joined by two members of our defense, senior Lytton Arledge, defensive back, and Jaden Neck, a junior, two familiar names to our listening audience. And guys, welcome to the show. Lytton, of course, familiar with your last name, but you've created a following in baseball with your job in baseball. You've been you were a part of a state championship team as a freshman, and of course, a state champion catcher last year for this team, 3 years now as a starting catcher for West Monroe baseball. Congratulations on your state championship. Let's talk about things, skills or things you've learned in baseball that help you in football, or things you've learned in football that help you in baseball. Managing two sports like that has to be somewhat difficult. Talk to me about that.
Oh, yeah. In baseball, being a catcher, you're like the leader of the team. You're the voice. And so that's helped me in football, too. And then at safety in football, you got to be able to communicate with the rest of the GPs. And football is a mental toughness game.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot with the baseball season, with all the games and innings called.
Yeah. Certainly a lot of demand physically on your body, playing catcher for a full baseball season and then jumping into off-season workouts and then getting ready for football. I know that transition can be somewhat difficult. Took a year off last year, decided to come back to football. Tell us that story. What brought you back to football?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I came back. One was, it's my senior year.
Yeah.
You only get one more opportunity to play football the rest of your life, so you might as well take it.
Yeah.
And then I've had buddies all on the football team that are hammering me all off season about coming back. So,
well, look, there's a lot of people that are glad you're back, and I'm one of them. Knowing your family for so long, and of course getting to watch you play as a freshman coming up, I'm just glad to have you back. Jaden, go down with an injury last Friday night, and initial thoughts were Jaden's going to be out for some time. That doesn't seem to be the case. Take me through this week and how that's transpired for you.
Okay, so
how'd you get hurt first? What happened Friday night?
I'm on punt, and they punt it. Dude bobbles the ball. I dive for it, and he kind of puts his helmet in my hip. The only thing that really hurt was my hip. I couldn't really move a lot, but I didn't want to lay on the sideline, look like a baby, and have him come get me off the field. So I hobbled to the sideline.
Yeah. And
then I had to go. Counts recommended I get an x-ray. He told me I fractured something in my back.
Yeah.
And so told me to get an MRI on Monday. And I got the MRI and all these tests. Said a lot of fancy words that I don't really know how to pronounce, but I just know that it's old stuff.
Old stuff.
The only thing I was really wrong was I bruised my hip, and all I know is I can play.
So you had a range of emotion of I could be out of this game for a while to now get to play Friday night. How was that? How do you handle those types of emotions? Were you disappointed and then bam, all of a sudden I'm back? Take me through that.
It kind of sucked because football is pretty much my whole personality, and for that to be taken away at the end of the game on a punt kind of sucked, especially first game.
Yeah.
But find out I can play again was a real blessing.
You guys have had a chance to look at Pulaski Academy on film. We just talked to Coach DeMichael Dizer, and he talked about all the different things that they do. Lytton, tell me about the challenge it's been this week as you guys watch them on film. The mental game that you're going to have to play Friday night. Tell me about Pulaski and what West Monroe has to do to be successful.
Well, that's a very unorthodox kind of style of football they play.
Yeah.
And so for us, really, it's just going to be the biggest part of the game is going to be just mental. Like our alignment and our assignment is going to win us or lose the ball game.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to that challenge, guys. And I know we had a short segment tonight, had some difficulties early, but wish you the best. And Lytton, I'd like to tell our seniors, thank you for representing this program. You do things the right way and wear that jersey the right way, and we appreciate all you do for West Monroe High School. Jaden, good luck Friday night, and guys, it's going to be a tough one, but we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to calling you guys' names a lot on Friday night. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show with head coach Kevin Davis right here on Inside Rebel Football. We'll be right back.
Do you want to feel better and perform better and get back to doing the things you enjoy? Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Kyle Nix at Twin City Chiropractic. If pain or injury have got you down, we provide long-term solutions to get you back to 100%. Our services include chiropractic care, spinal rehab and traction, deep tissue laser, and Normatec compression. If you're an athlete, weekend warrior, work on a computer all day, or even involved in an auto accident, we can help your body perform at its best. Feel better, perform better at Twin City Chiropractic. We're located at 1117 Forsyth Avenue in Monroe. Call us at 318-582-5029.
Show here tonight inside Rebel football with head coach Kevin Davis. Coach, big week this week, out-of-state opponent. Tell me about this week at practice. How's it going?
Well, today we practiced during the hurricane, so
there you go.
It went well. I mean, the kids responded. We went out, had a great practice in all that rain, and we just needed to be on the field. I didn't want to take them to the gym again. And now that we're getting the cooler weather, we just wanted to be outside. So it's gone really well. Tomorrow we'll walk through. We'll load our bags. We'll leave about 12:15 Friday. Stop in Sheridan, Arkansas, and eat our pregame and head into Pulaski. Pulaski is a beautiful little place. Little is kind of an understatement for us, but they play football. They love football. The place is. It'll be standing room only just because the Rebels are coming to town.
Can't wait. And look, a familiar name. I think ESPN's done a special on them before. Multiple state championships, just a pedigree there for the Bruins. Talk to me about that. Yeah, do they still do they onside kick every time? Do they punt?
No.
Okay, because I knew the coach that started that left, so they've kept that tradition of
kept
no
the
punts.
Tradition. Coach Lucas, he probably would, coming out 10-yard line. He said, "I'm not going to be crazy, But I'm going to tell you what, Rick. Their whole philosophy is this: we want to onside kick it, so we can get it, so we can score.
Yeah.
We don't care if they score. We just don't want them to score in 12 plays. We want them, if they score in 3 plays. Let us get the ball back so we can score again and then onside kick again. That's their whole thing. Onside kick, score. Onside kick, score. They score. They've got to keep up with us.
Yeah. Okay.
So
well, they've been successful at it
they
for a
sure
long
have.
time.
They
Coach.
sure have.
And so it should be a fun environment. I always like to ask you about your midweek games. Freshmen were successful once again, along with the JV.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. I didn't tell anybody last week. I should have told everyone. Freshmen are 2-0. Came back from an 18-0 deficit last week against Ruston to beat them with 4 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
It was just a great game. And then this week they played Union, beat Union pretty good. I think 33-6. And then the good ball game this week. Obviously, it's always good when you win, but the JV game against Evangel was just a great football.
Yeah.
And we ended up beating those guys 24-20. So the JV goes to 2-0, and I knew that group, just the group that they had and the nucleus that we had, that we were going to be pretty good, and they're starting to get confidence and play really well.
Evangel brought over some good athletes that night too, and they saw some familiar numbers and names from calling them in the Bayou Gym. I was like, I remember that kid. I remember that kid. Some really good talent. Well, Coach, so we'll stop in, you said Sheridan, Arkansas, get a pregame meal, about a 3-hour ride up there. Let's talk about the strategy going into it. So we've got an unorthodox, strategy on Pulaski's part. How do you counter that? What does West Monroe have to do to be successful Friday?
Control the football, be consistent, control the football, keep the ball out of their hands. I mean, they spread it out and do crazy things. Matter of fact, when we punt to them, so they've told me, we'll see, they just run off the field. They don't even try to return the punt because they don't want to muff it. They don't want to fumble it. They want the football on offense so they can go score with it. And they said they just ought to run off the field. So I'm anxious to see if that takes place. But you got to possess it. You got to possess it. And they can't onside kick it if they don't score. And that's kind of what we want to think about right now.
Has there been extra focus on special teams this week?
Yes.
Fielding, onside kicks, and hands team?
Absolutely.
Tell me about this week of practice. Maybe you had to make some adjustments to focus on some things maybe you don't typically focus on as much.
Well, and we don't. Now, we're going to focus on special teams every week, every special team. But this week, put a little more emphasis. We took all our kickers, put one on one hash, one on the other hash, and we just started rapid firing balls at both sides of the onside kick team.
Okay.
Spinners, which they call it, over the end where it kicks it straight up in the air, just doing whatever. We did it yesterday. We did it again today. Coach Trucks does a great job of preparing those guys and getting those guys, and then making them just be proud of being on the team, being part of a special team that's going to do those type things. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. It's going to be it'll be a show. So we'll see.
Had a chance to talk with their media team this week. Very accommodating. Been very nice people. And they're excited. We're going to trade people during the pregame show. They're going to come over to our broadcast. We're going to go over to their broadcast. And looking forward to that. And, of course, they return the favor next year. They come to Rebel Stadium. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Great. We're looking forward to hosting those guys. And looking forward to Friday night. Coach, we wish you the best of luck.
All right. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it.
Folks, that wraps up our show here on Inside Rebel Football on LA 105.3. Again, you can catch us our pregame show at 6:15 right here on 105.3. Friday night as the Rebels travel to Pulaski Academy just outside of Little Rock, about 3 hours away. First time we've been in Arkansas since 1990, Tim. And so looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us tonight. Again, you can catch this on our Facebook page, on the Western Road Football Facebook page. It'll take you to the YouTube channel to watch this live stream, our coaches show that we filmed tonight. For Tim Gallion and Dawson Bowes back at the studio, I'm Rick Guillo. Good night and God bless.